Welcome to Data Catalog 101. So Data Catalog on AWS Glue, it's a metadata repository as we need a repository for any sort of data warehouse. So it contains the database, tables, schema registry for the streaming jobs, connections and crawlers. Usually, this setup is being done once in organization and companies, and administrator of the AWS account should be able to set it up this one for the developers where they will be using all this information when they create their AWS Glue ETL pipeline. So now let's go and log in into our AWS management console. So currently now you see I have logged in into AWS Glue console, and in the AWS Glue console under data catalog we can see all of the information. I have created two databases, AWS DemoDB and Udemy Demo. We are going to create one database just for the demo purpose, and it will be like database 101, and you don't need to provide any other information. It's just optional. You don't need to provide any IAM role, and it will create the database. So database over here. When you go under table, there's a cttemp table created on the Udemy demo database, and when you click on the table it gives you other information, when this table was created, what kind of file it has in the source, and when we are going to work under classifier and creating our ETL job, we'll be creating same tables into the database. And you can see more information about the table also, like how this table is partitioned, and then what are the other advanced property of this table, the size of the table, which crawler updated this table, and the total count of this one. When you go to the connections, these connections will be used by your ETL job when you try to use them as a source or target. For this demo we have Redshift test connection created, which is for the Redshift database connection. And if you just want to create the Redshift database connection, I can create like database 101, and you need to provide the connection type will be Amazon Redshift, and what should be your database instance. So I do have already spinned up one Redshift cluster. We'll be also doing the same thing when we go to the Redshift. So you connect to that Redshift instance, your database name, and there are two ways to connect to the Redshift. You can use the username and password, or you can use the secret, which will be in the secret manager, to connect to the Redshift database. In our case, we'll be using the username and password. This is the same master user which will be created when you create the Redshift cluster, and when you create the connection is created. The same connection can be used again for your target properties. AWS has very good information on all the resources being created. So if you go on this page, which I will link to the reference section, it gives the information about AWS data catalog, different data sources which we are used here, and how whole data catalog is being created, like crawlers, which crawls the data. You connect to the sources using connections, the metadata being written into the data catalog, and the schemas being inferred with the crawlers. So that's all about data catalog, and now let's go and look into the crawlers. Thank you very much.